I have slandered Koraidon many a time on this channel, but I think in all actuality, Groudon is the Pokemon with a problem in Regulation G. So like I said, I've talked mad trash about Koraidon and how I thought Groudon was better, but I think I have to eat my words on this one. Just based on results of tournaments that we've had so far, I really do think that I'm going to have to eat my words. So first and foremost, let's go over here to Lab Mouse, look at some recent tournaments, right? We've got the Hemi Burnt Glizzy Tour from last night. I think it was last night. Yeah, last night. And Groudon, while having more usage rate than Koraidon, actually has a lower win rate. So if we look over here at the win rate, Groudon has a 38% win rate, whereas if I scroll down to Koraidon with a lower usage rate, has almost a 50% win rate. And we're going to talk about why that is. We can pull up another tournament here. Let me see. I got the Tommy Tuesday results. Let's see if we can scroll till we find a Groudon. 41% win rate on Groudon in this tournament, and Koraidon once again with a 55% usage rate. Higher, less used, but higher. And I want to say I'm not the only person that thought this, okay? I think the majority of people really did think Groudon was just going to be that guy as the sun restricted Pokemon in Regulation G, because of the fact that, yes, with Koraidon, you are going to have to go ahead and Terrasilize to get away from Flutter Mane. But honestly, Flutter Mane stocks are way down. It's still a very popular Pokemon. Let's see what the usage stats were in these tournaments here, if we can find it on the list. Flutter Mane, top 8 in this one, and what was it in the Glizzy Tour? It was top 5. So it's still prominent, but it's definitely going down. And I feel like if you position Koraidon very correctly, it just does a little bit better than this, because Groudon is very much a one-trick pony, right? Very much a one-trick pony. It's running like one set right now. You're running Clear Amulet with Heat Crash or Fire Punch, either or. Heat Crash, Fire Punch, Precipice Blades, Swords Dance, and Protect. And this is the set that you're seeing on like pretty much every Groudon right now. And it's really good in theory. However, the problem is this move is 85% accurate. 85% accurate, and even in the sun, you are still taking stupid damage from water type attacks. This Pokemon just gets absolutely rocked. It's running Terra Fire most of the time to maximize that Heat Crash. Occasionally, you'll see like a Fire Punch here and there on this instead of Heat Crash. But it just doesn't take hits from water types very well, versus Koraidon. While yes, Flutter Mane does just bop this thing, it can do a little bit more in the form of running like Clear Amulet. You do still set the Drought. You've got Collision Course. You're able to run Flame Charge and get that speed boost. There's even some sets that are running, and you can, like, another thing you're seeing a lot is Breaking Swipe on this thing. But there is, where is it at? Scale Shot. You're actually seeing a couple of these run Scale Shot with like loaded dice next to Chenpao. Like, this Pokemon has a couple different movesets that it can actually use. So it's kind of an interesting Pokemon that is popping up and doing just a bit more. And the fact of the matter is that this standard set here with like Breaking Swipe and the Clear Amulet, the thing about this set that Groudon can't like tote over Koraidon is this set is consistent. You hit every move, versus Groudon, you may miss Precipice Blades every time you use it in a battle on one of the two Pokemon you're going to hit. Not to mention the fact that, yes, I think both these Pokemon are not great. I would probably, if I redid my tier list, put them both in B tier right now, because Sun seems to be pretty weak, considering one of the best Wide Guard users in the format. One of the arguably best Pokemon in the format right now is Pelipper, which does get access to Wide Guard and sets Drizzle. These two Pokemon really have a tough time, and while, yes, Koraidon does still get bopped by Pelipper, Groudon can't even use its signature move, and its Heat Crash is weakened once the rain is set. So Groudon is just completely shut down by one of the top Pokemon in the format right now, and it's having a really tough go of it for that reason. And the thing about Groudon teams is we're back in the Hemi Turner teams, right? These teams are proto spams, right? You're running Protosynthesis Pokemon and you're just spamming their strong attacks. And while they are good, look at these win records. Like, the best one in this tournament was 5-3. This one had a Chi-Yu. But you're seeing a lot of like Flutter Mane Raging Bolts. Occasionally you'll see a Walking Wake, but a lot of Flutter Mane Raging Bolt. You're seeing Roaring Moon pop up here and there, and Roaring Moon pairs very nicely as a Tailwind setter. It's just a lot of proto spam on this particular Pokemon. And same goes for Koraidon, but again, the fact that you just don't have to worry about missing your attacks with Koraidon, and you get the attack buff in the sun, is really helping Koraidon win more games than Groudon. Groudon, just feels bad if there's any sort of water type Pokemon on the opposing side of the field. Like Water Pond seeing a lot of play right now because Urshifu is still very good. Rapid Strike Urshifu is seeing a lot of play right now, especially with the dominance of Pelipper. You just don't like taking hits from that. Versus Koraidon can just opt to not Terrasilize and resist the hits from Urshifu, and that's really powerful for that particular Pokemon. And yeah, it's kind of in a weird place with Groudon because with the dominance of Pelipper, and with the, you know, just all the rain running around, also with Calyrex-Ice being so prominent, this Pokemon is kind of also forced to Terrasilize, much like Koraidon is. But with Pelipper being so popular on Cali-Ice teams, you're actually seeing issues with Groudon being able to do anything once the rain is set in the face of the Cali-Ice. So I just think that this Pokemon, while I thought, and many others, again, I don't think I'm the only one that was in this boat, while many people thought that Groudon was going to be super good, it's having a lot of issues in the format, and I don't know that there's currently a way to fix that. I think that once we get into more double restricted formats, Groudon might make a slight resurgence, because maybe you could do a Koraidon Groudon team and pair the two Sunsetters together to really maximize the benefit of these two Pokemon. But I just think that as it sits right now, Groudon is in a very, very awkward place because of this Pokemon. And the fact that this Pokemon is so good right now, like unironically good, it's kind of crazy because you're seeing a lot of like Terra Grass, Covert Cloak, or I've even seen some Life Orb on this thing, and you're running it on like slower teams. You could like max out the HP, and you're even seeing it on faster teams. Like you'll see like Wide Guard, and you may even see like Hurricane and then Tailwind. So like you can have a fast and slow mode with Pelipper right now. This Pokemon is just crazy good. You're also seeing it on Trick Room teams, and it's just running Protect instead of Tailwind. It's just a crazy good Pokemon in the format right now, and both these Pokemon have very, very difficult times because you have 100% accurate Hurricane that can bop Koraidon. You have a Weather Ball that can bop Groudon. It's just very difficult for these two Pokemon in the format, but I think that of the two, like I said, Koraidon just seems to be doing better in these tournaments in the early format. This may change and develop over time as people develop counters for Pelipper. Like Groudon really is getting carried by Raging Bolt in a lot of these matchups because you can run Assault Vest, Raging Bolt, proc the Protosynthesis, you can run Terra Fairy wherever it's at, and you're able to sit there with Thunderbolt or Electro Web, and Thunderbolt's probably better because of the Pelipper dominance, and Thunderclap, you can run Draco, and then you're going to run Snarl on this thing. And the thing about this is you can sit there, you can spam Snarl in front of Cali-Ice, not Cali-Ice, excuse me, Cali Shadow. You can Thunderbolt Pelipper. You can go for Dracos for big damage into a lot of stuff. Like this Pokemon's really good in carrying the Groudon teams, and like Hearthflame Ogerpon is also very popular, but again gets bought by Pelipper. There's just a lot of Pokemon that just are dealt with by Pelipper in the format for Groudon teams. And it kind of puts it in an awkward position, and a lot of like Urshifu Rapid Strikes are running around. And still rocking the Choice Scarf. And with the Choice Scarf, you're outspeeding the Flutter Manes that are running on Groudon teams, because most are running like Choice Specs. You're seeing a lot of Choice Specs Flutter on Groudon teams because you're running Choice Specs with booster speed once you proc the Protosynthesis. And once you set the rain, like you just lead Urshifu and something else, wait for Groudon to come in, you rotate in your Pelipper, and you just outspeed this thing and just bop it with Surging Strikes, and this Pokemon's gone. There's nothing it can do. So just the dominance of rain right now really is hurting Groudon, which is funny because like Kyogre's very mid. Kyogre's not super great. I think it's good on ladder for like low level because you can spam like Water Spout and stuff and just do big damage. But the problem is like Pelipper once again deals with this super effectively. You can, despite the fact that you know you're setting the rain for Kyogre, you can just wide guard Kyogre, and what can it do other than Ice Beam? You may see a lot of Kyogre opt for like Thunder now, Thunderbolt or Thunder, just to deal with the Pelipper. But then you're taking away its option to run like Origin Pulse or run Ice Beam. Like you're taking away one of those moves that really helps Kyogre out, and it's causing issues for this particular Pokemon. Like I don't even know if it was on any teams. Let's see if it was on any teams in the Hemi Turner tour. Oh, it was actually. It did do fairly well. Okay, it is popping up here and there, especially I guess the Archaludon makes sense in this regard because of the fact that Pelipper is so good. Being able to Electro Shot a Pelipper is really, really solid. So that's an interesting thing to note about the Kyogre teams is Kyogre might actually pick up because of the lack of sun in the format and the use of Pelipper. It may actually be pretty good to deal with that particular threat. I hadn't considered that variable, but that actually makes a fair bit of sense. Because of Pelipper being so prominent and setting Drizzle for so many Pokemon, Kyogre, while it's doing decently at a lot of tours, I do think that with it doing decently, you are going to see a lot of Ogerpon pop up. Ogerpon is going to get more and more popular, especially on those Calyrex-Ice teams. Being able to follow me and set Trick Room is going to be really popular. It can stop spores. It can do a lot of things in the format, and it just water absorbs Kyogre. So another interesting component to the Kyogre, but I definitely see that it makes sense that Kyogre is seeing some good usage in this format, considering the fact that we are able to just kind of bop Pelippers with Kyogre. Let's see if these are actually running Thunder. Nope, this one's not, but again, it has that Archaludon, which is just so scary for Pelipper. So yeah, I think because of the inconsistencies that Groudon is having right now with Precipice Blades, not only being a move that misses, but also with Pelipper being so prominent and not being able to be hit by Precipice Blades, it's causing a lot of issues for Groudon in the format currently, and it's definitely going to take a lot of workaround and good play to make Groudon work super effectively in this format as it sits right now, which I think is really, really interesting. So that's going to be it for the video. Let me know your thoughts on Groudon in the comments below, but if you're not already subbed for more videos like this in the future, and be sure to check out the Discord if you want to share Reg G teams that'll be featured on the channel in the future. But until next time, peace.